guys, how's it going? I'm Eliza and welcome to another vlog. So today I thought that I would do a vlog, I guess to kind of give you guys a little bit of context, a bit of history, about me, I suppose, to sort of, I think, give you an idea of where I come from in terms of, you know, my perspective on things, my insights on things, my beliefs, my values, who I am as a person, why I'm kind of doing these vlogs in the first place, why I'm studying what I'm studying, and why I do what I do, essentially. And I think context only helps situations. I'm somebody who likes to have all the information and then make an informed decision on stuff, but I think I have the ability to be able to share that with you, and I'm happy to share that with you guys. I think I'm at the point now where I'm becoming a lot more comfortable with sharing bits and pieces of who I am. You know, this is a personal vlog in a way, you know, it is my journey, it's something for me to look back on, and I guess each time I do a vlog, I'm setting a particular standard for myself and then just trying to improve from that. So where to start? I guess the beginning, perhaps. So I was born and raised here in Adelaide, South Australia. If you don't know where that is, it's down the bottom, in the middle, along the coast. I'm the second of 4 children. I have an older brother, a younger sister, and then a baby brother. I say baby, but he is 21, I guess. Adelaide's a quiet little city. It's the capital city of my state, South Australia. It's a lot quieter than Melbourne or Sydney, but it is a very, very beautiful city. Growing up, I never really appreciated how lucky I've been to be able to grow up here. It's a very safe, overall good community to grow up in. It's not too crazy, it's not too quiet. It's known for its wine regions, for its pristine beaches, and its arty kind of festival culture. So it's got a lot going for it, and it's definitely picked up a lot more in the last few years, with a lot more tourists coming, a lot more pop-up bars and restaurants and stuff like that. So it is a pretty cool city to visit. I mean, I sound very biased, but I genuinely believe that. The population's about 1.3 million. We have hills to the east and north, and beaches to the west and south, I guess. Growing up, I went to Catholic private schools up until I was about 15 years old, and then I went to a private independent school which didn't have religion in it. It was a lot more academic focused. We were treated a lot more like university students rather than high school students, so and I really liked that. You know, growing up, we didn't have a lot. My parents didn't have anything. We definitely weren't wealthy. Anything my parents had went to us kids, you know, in terms of our education, clothes, food. And they also invested a lot in family trips when they could, mainly when we were a lot older, but they took us around Australia a lot on road trips. When my parents could afford to take us on trips, they had this philosophy that it was really important to get us to see our own country, our own backyard, and have an appreciation for our home country, Australia, and its beauty, because it's such a diverse country in itself, with different climates and environments and people and all that sort of thing. So I think they wanted us to have that appreciation first before we could really appreciate anywhere else. I'm extremely lucky to have such generous, knowledgeable, kind parents. I realise that. Our parents always encouraged us to do the right thing, even if it didn't necessarily benefit us, or it wasn't the easy option. It was about doing what's right and what's good. And when we didn't, and we were little shits, they'd put us in timeout, and I fucking hated timeout. I don't know, I feel like out of all my siblings, I just hated it so much. It was the worst punishment for me. And of course I would complain and then keep going, and so they would just add on a minute. So, you know, like I'd have 3 minutes of timeout, and of course, you know, when you're 5 years old, 3 minutes is a lifetime. But I guess from a young age, my parents really encouraged us to reflect on our actions, and hold ourselves responsible for our behaviours, and not put it on other people. Don't blame other people for our behaviours. That's all on us, and how we choose to take it and choose to deal with it. I guess describing myself growing up, I always kind of knew I was different. I didn't fit the mould of a general kid, I guess. In some things I would be a little bit wiser, and I was very much a tomboy. I wasn't into the whole girly girl kind of thing, but at the same time I could easily get along with girls and boys. I just had such a great time, and I was a very sociable kid, very happy kid, easygoing, and just wanted to be nice and be liked, and that's that was my childhood. But in being different, my parents, my mum and my dad, in fact everyone in my family has always encouraged us to be who we are, be proud of who we are, and not to be ashamed of our differences or idiosyncrasies. In fact, in kindergarten, which is before you go to school, so like 3 or 4 years old or something like that, my mum went to go pick me up from kindergarten one day, and she waited with all the mums and dads as you do for the kids to come out, and of course one by one each of the kids came out. My mum's waiting. She's like, where's Eliza? Like, what the hell? And she waited, and all the kids came out, and I just never showed. And I was like, what? Okay, what's going on? So she walked in to where we were all sitting on the floor. At this point, it was just me. So she went up and spoke to the teacher, and she's just like, so why can't I take Eliza? Like, why isn't she allowed out? And my teacher just said, Eliza just refused to say good afternoon. And they weren't allowed to leave until they say good afternoon. And Mum's like, well, why wouldn't she say good afternoon? Apparently I just didn't feel like it at the time, and I was fine. I wasn't being grumpy, I wasn't being a shithead on purpose, but it was just I didn't feel like it, and they wanted to make me do something. And as they put it to my mum, they wanted me to conform, and straight away my mum actually pulled me out of that kindergarten, put me into a different one where I didn't have to conform and become someone different. So she always reminds me how she stood up for me, being different and having a voice, and I think it makes perfect sense as to why I'm doing vlogs now and standing up for myself and speaking and having a voice, because I've always been taught to do that and stand up for myself and others. When I was 15, my parents got divorced. I was blindsided, but they'd been married for 20 years and decided to call it quits. But I guess through all of that, they have still remained friends. So my mum and dad are actually still quite close. They'll often hang out with their partners. It's a weird dynamic, but I'm very, very grateful for that, because I know that we're the exception. There's not a lot of families that when the parents divorce, they want absolutely nothing to do with each other. They have separate Christmases, separate birthdays, all different things. They can't be in the same room or civil to each other and get past their bullshit for their kids' sake. Whereas I can proudly say, and very gratefully say, I don't know if that's a word or I've used that appropriately, but anyway, my parents put their bullshit aside for us kids, and they never made it about us, as in it wasn't our fault. They had their shit to deal with, but when it came to parenting, so I couldn't ever trick my parents, because I couldn't say, yeah, hey mum, can you lend me $50, and then ask my dad for the same thing, because they would tell each other. So I never got that, but I'm happy to go without that stuff to have them be able to spend time in a room together. That's kind of where my attitude comes from, I think, and still being accepting of others, and despite differences, being able to coexist. If you just get over it, you just deal with it, you become civil and mature and adult about it. Both my parents have partners, and like I said, they all get along, and both their partners have 2 kids, so yeah, family gatherings can be quite big, but you can never have too much family, and I'm extremely, extremely grateful for everyone. They're all so lovely, so educated and wise and supportive and unique and funny and caring. So I don't have 2 parents, I have 4 parents, and that's pretty fucking cool. Before my mum actually met her current partner, she was married. She did remarry. She married a narcissist, so that didn't last long. But it was actually a really tough time for my mum and a really tough time for the family. I also was going through heartbreak of my own, so that was a fun experience. Yeah, so it was pretty hard, and of course dealing with your first heartbreak is never easy. In fact, I felt completely lost at that point. It was a tough time. I didn't know what I was doing. When you go through a breakup, you have to redefine yourself as an individual, and if you have lost that during that relationship, it's extremely hard to figure out what you want in life, where you want to go. And I was at that point, I was extremely lost, and I think a little bit depressed as well. I didn't know how to deal with it, and for a very long time, probably about 3 or 4 years, I struggled. I didn't know, and I was in this sort of limbo. After that, I guess, I got to a point where enough was enough. I was sick of doing the same thing and not really going anywhere in life, and I was sick of, I didn't want that to be it. I thought there has to be more excitement to life, and You know, I really had to learn to grow up, to move on. So about 2 years ago, I was actually diagnosed with a personality disorder. It's called Obsessive Compulsive Personality Disorder, or OCPD. It's slightly different to OCD. OCD is kind of like little behaviors, and I certainly have weird behaviors, but it's slightly different. It's I guess thought fixations a little bit, obsessive work ethic, and I guess at the cost of sometimes family and friends, like relationships. I think it's something I'll definitely go into in another vlog. It can certainly be a curse, and it can certainly be a blessing. It can definitely have a positive impact on my life, and it can definitely have a negative impact on my life. But I guess that control and how much it can affect me is entirely up to me and how I manage it. So I guess I'm not exactly sure how, why, when I decided to change and make a difference. I think it's a combination of many things, but it did happen, and I'm not someone who necessarily believes that everything happens for a reason, but I believe that everything that does happen can be given a reason. You can give it a purpose and make something of it. And ironically, obsessive compulsive personality disorder is very much about trying to control things, and a lot in life we can't control. So yeah, living can be quite tough for me. So it is about managing my mood, managing how I can make my life easier, and sometimes that is through being extra organized or having a balance between my needs and my wants on a daily basis, not just on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. It's extremely important for me to have a balance in my life, and by doing that, it actually keeps me settled, it keeps me stable, it keeps me in control of my feelings and my emotions and my thoughts as much as I can, given my predisposition to this personality disorder, which at the end of the day is a label. I mean, I've also been labeled with autistic traits, but at the end of the day, who gives a shit? It's about how I function in society. It's how I can improve my life, how much I let it affect me and hinder me, or how much I use it to my benefit, find my strengths and actually use them and manage them the way that suits me. So I guess that explains a little bit as to why I want to teach and to why I want to do my vlogs and explore the world and gain as much information as possible. It's what I'm fascinated in, it's what I'm obsessed in, and you know, like I said, I can either let this affect me adversely or I can let it help me in a positive way, use it to my benefit. I mean, everything is on a spectrum really, and we all sit somewhere along it. Society doesn't always fit for everyone, or I should say not everybody fits into society, and sometimes I get over it, but I'm the one who suffers if I don't make it better for myself, because unfortunately not everyone can manage me all the time, and you wouldn't want that. You know, we have to learn to help ourselves, to self-soothe, to self-motivate, to self-discipline. And so I guess now I try to see the beauty everywhere. I take notice, I take moments in and hold on to those. Now I see beauty everywhere. And you know, I'm no more special or smarter or more capable than anybody else. We're all extraordinary. I mean, just think about how we're even here. Like, literally, like, being human, being alive, being able to actually think about that and have context of the universe and how far we've come and sense of time. I mean, we really can't grasp how old the universe is. We are such a small little speck in time, and that is extraordinary. So, you know, now instead of seeing, thinking, feeling ordinary, you know, so instead I try to let it inspire me, motivate me, drive me, fuel me, and most importantly, not only believe that I can be extraordinary, but believe that all of us already are extraordinary. You know, dark days are dark days. We wouldn't be human without them. But on those days that aren't so dark, try to focus on the light. You know, use that light to see forward, and use it as a reminder that this too shall pass. So on that note, guys, stay extraordinary. I'll catch you very soon for my next video. Until then, peace out.